Welcome to the Gerry Anderson podcast, which today idly investigates if the presenter could be doing with a catchphrase or slogan to ease his dwindling years.
I think you need a slogan, and one just came to me there now. Do you know we were...
I have a slogan.
No, what about?
Radio Ulster for all your listening needs.
Ach, no. Gerry Anderson.
For all your listening needs?
No. We'll steal it on Stephen Watson. Gerry Anderson at the heart of broadcasting.
At the heart of broadcasting.
Yes.
Now let me try that again.
Yes.
Gerry Anderson at the heart of broadcasting.
I think that's
Hey,
it.
that
yes.
sounds good,
I
doesn't
think
it?
it's good, yes. At the heart of broadcasting.
And indeed, Radio Ulster for all your listening needs.
Yes.
I was in Galway all weekend.
You weren't.
Ever since Friday. I was down doing a special little programme. And what a wonderful
From
place.
Galway?
In Galway, yeah. In
You were
Galway.
broadcasting from Galway?
No. I was recording a special programme.
Oh.
I travel around all the time. Do you think I'm like you and go home and play golf every weekend?
Couldn't get out the weekend of snow.
I'm glad. I have a life, you know. What a lovely place Galway is.
Why didn't you take me with you?
Because I don't want you there. Is that a good enough answer? Yeah. The text messaging service is 08 double... What's the number?
Wait.
See?
What?
You
The
see?
text?
Yeah.
It double... It,
You see? You
I
see?
do know it.
It left me there. 08 771.
No, it's no 08.
What does Emma know?
It's 81771.
That's it.
Yes,
That's
there's
it.
no...
81771. The presenter is no stranger to glittering dues, which he attends only if he is being paid handsomely. However, humiliation often lurks not far away. Do you know the people who invite you to these things, oh, come to this opening, come to that, come to that, come to that? I never go to anything. The only things I ever go to is somebody who said to me, listen, do you want to go to this? We'll give you a whole lot of money. And I'd say, certainly I'll go.
That's a lie.
When did I ever go to anything that didn't give me money for?
Well, I'm thinking something.
Go on.
Oh, well, let me think.
Any situation whereby you just go to get your photograph in the paper. You never see my photograph in the paper. You never see me doing stuff, do you? Never.
They never. They photograph the other people. They don't bother about you.
That's not true. The reason I'm not there is because I'm not there. Right?
Oh.
If I was there, they'd want me.
Would they?
The only time they ever...
Yes,
the worst thing that ever happened to me...
yes.
No. The worst thing that ever happened to me, I think... No, there are two things, bad things ever happened to me concerning photographers. I'll tell you. I know I told you the first one about Buckingham Palace.
Mm-hmm.
I won't tell you that again. But the next thing that happened to me was there was a fashion do, in the Merchant Hotel. You know, the one that you thought was too dark? Mm-hmm. The hotel, you didn't like
The
it?
beds were too high.
I know. Anyway, there was a do in there, and I was presenting the do with Zoe Salmon.
Yes.
Zoe Salmon, who's a lovely girl, and I really like her.
Yeah.
And we had the usual thing. You see, what you do is you arrive there, and you go in, and we sniffed out the bar.
Yeah.
Then a boy comes over and says, right, come down the back, and we'll put you in the car, and we'll let on you're arriving. Mm-hmm. So you go into the car at the back of the building, you see. Mm-hmm. Then they drive round the lane, and then you arrive at the front of the building where the red carpet is for all the photographers, right? So I'm sitting beside Zoe Salmon, and she is beautiful. And I'm sitting there and going, this is great. So the fellow opens the door, and I walk out, and I stand, and I put my arm out. Mm-hmm. And Zoe puts her arm. And we walk, and we stand on the red carpet. And the people say, could you stand away over to the left there? We just want to get one of Zoe on her own. Could you stand over on the left there? Could you just for a minute there? I said to myself, it's only for a minute. So I went over and I stayed on the left, and they never asked me to go back again. Oh. I mean, I was able to handle that. I was able to take it, you know.
Well, you're only
Melissa
telling us
Mann wouldn't have been
about
able.
it now.
I can name you people that wouldn't have done that, who would have just caused a row. But the reason why they didn't want me is because they thought I was too old.
Too old?
I think so. Some of the callers to this programme have been driven to distraction by what comes before, namely Nolan. Witness this man almost gibbering with rage. But I understand that you can't take any more. You've heard too much. Life has turned you that way.
My head's astray.
I know. I can tell. You're just a hair away from professional help. I mean, I was going to stop you at the beginning, and I was going to say to you, what is that strange chittering sound there? What is that? Are you doing that?
No, me. I'm not doing that.
What is that kind of echo thing?
Maybe it's my wireless. Will I turn it off? Well, is that turned off now?
Oh, yes, would you?
I've got new plates put in there at Christmas time too, and they're jumping about a bit as well. And with me being all annoyed about this whole thing, I'm not just myself, you know. I'm not feeling myself at all.
You're like a man whose teeth might fall out. You're so angry.
Well, I've got new glue. I've got new glue to put them in there to paste them up, but they keep dropping. And that wee man from Strabane, he's dead too. God rest him.
Hugo? Has Hugo been killed?
Mr. Cunningham.
Oh, sorry.
No. If it was Hugo, it would be morning. The
Stop
black
it.
bikes out everywhere.
George Cunningham.
That wee man, that decent wee man there. Couple of people survive. They can't get a job. They're going over to Liverpool for the try and get a job. They can't get a job at all. So for the trouble altogether.
Now, the key to George, God rest him, is that he always said Strabane. You get to work at the band. You get to band. You get to work at the band. You get to 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 the band.
Can't get a job anywhere. Have to go over and live there. The people over and live there. They don't want the people that going over to the band there at all.
Very good.
I think
Very good.
both of you are just a step away from help.
The presenter seems to be falling apart. Notice hysterical talk, wild flashes of fantasy, sudden uncalled for laughter, irrational thought processes. Can the straitjacket be far away? Did you see the one about the world's fattest man? I mean, world's fattest man last night, as I suspected. He was spoiled rotten by his mother. He even got her to remortgage her house to buy £10,000 worth of food. Is that what Nolan did? No, that's a cruel, cruel thing to say. And here's a man who wants to settle an argument. Last night in the pub, we had a heated argument about the resting place of Gabby Hayes. Some say he is buried in Boot Hill, others say Tombstone City. So that's the same place. So Tombstone is Boot Hill. Tombstone's the graveyard is Boot Hill. And I've been in Boot Hill, and Gabby Hayes is not buried there. Another gentleman said that Roy Rogers got Gabby Hayes stuffed when he died and kept him in the corner of his house beside the piano. I don't think he did that.
I don't think so.
Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
I must agree with your appraisal of the Stephen Boyd documentary. I did learn, though, that he died on my 12th birthday, says John Butcher, for no reason at all. And there's a man wants you muzzled.
Why?
I don't know, he just says muzzle coil. Maybe strange. He may be saying muzzle toft.
No.
Maybe some kind of Jewish celebration. Muzzle coil. He lifts a drink and say muzzle coil. Muzzle toft.
There's a man on one.
Slancha. Slancha.
Apparently you were off air this morning.
Was I?
Apparently so.
I hope it was some time when I wasn't talking about anything.
But you think Ken would let you know?
No, he doesn't care. As long as he gets his money at the end of the week, he doesn't care what goes out. Where was he? I haven't seen the little boy.
Oh, he was in this morning.
Is he?
He was in there, yeah.
I saw him yesterday and he had a heavy step.
Yeah.
And he seemed down. His shoulders were slumped. And he was wearing the big coat he wears when he's depressed. And he's walking along. I thought his footfall was heavy.
He was in here this morning. He was looking very tired.
I think he might be drinking. What do you
so?
think? I wouldn't want to accuse him of that, but I wonder is everything all right at home?
Wayne's on one.
What Wayne? Jimmy Gucci Wayne. I love you, Gucci Wayne. Coilus Interruptus has developed an unappealing habit of stealing things that he already owns. It's a worrying development. It must be stamped out. Can you please tell me the treatment you buy for your neck? I can't tell you. What's the name of that album you played? Sorry, who is this?
Not me.
Sorry. What is the name of the album you played Elvis tracks from? Did you steal that back yesterday? Did you take that from my desk yesterday, did you?
Oh, well, let's...
Viva Elvis.
Well...
Did you?
What you're saying is, did I take it back? Did I steal it back, is what you said originally?
Yes.
Hung up.
I was going back to him, you know.
Yes.
Did you steal that yesterday?
The CD that I own, that you borrowed from me, you're
Yes.
asking me, did I steal it back from you?
Yeah, did you
I
steal it
steal
back?
my own CD?
Did you steal it back?
Oh, Emma gave it back to me.
Did she?
Yes.
She has no right to do that.
That's my CD.
It doesn't
I
matter.
wanted to play it in the wee show.
Well, where is it now?
It's probably...
Do you know exactly where it is? Would Emma get it for me now?
I have it locked away.
You have it locked away?
But I could get it.
What, is it some kind of plague bacillus?
Oh, I put all my CDs in the one basket.
Oh, you'd never do that.
And they're locked
Never
away.
do that.
Yes.
I know you're saying no to me when I'm asking
do
you to
you
get
want
that.
it?
Yes.
What's I'm asking you?
Yes, please.
All right.
Will you get it?
Will I get it now?
Bet you don't. Yeah,
Oh,
bet
will I
you
get
don't.
it now?
Bet you don't.
I'll leave now.
All right, then leave now.
Right.
The presenter is often railed against prohibitions imposed upon us by our local cinemas. One can neither eat fish suppers, smoke or drink alcohol, and we must remain silent at all times. It's not good enough. You can go to the Ulster Hall on a Friday night, whatever, say starting on the Friday the 14th of January, and it looks to me as if you can go up and get yourself a pint and watch 2 movies. I mean, this is what we
wouldn't like
always dreamed of.
No, I wouldn't like it because you have to go to the toilet and you can't press pause.
That's true. But you see, could you not live without that? Could you not bring a Poe with you? Some kind of a Lucozade bottle?
You know, can you imagine if you had a wee device and everyone pressed pause every time they went to the toilet?
There is a cinema in London, in Notting Hill, and I used to frequent it all the time.
Why don't you just show the pictures in the toilet?
They might attract the wrong kind of person. I don't know.
Right, the cinema in London, you said.
There's a cinema in London in Notting Hill called the Coronet. And Coronet, it's an old-fashioned cinema. You know the way cinemas used to be? Mm-hmm. And up until about a year ago, I think they've all stopped that now because they're not allowed to do anything like that anymore. I discovered about 5 years ago, I discovered that you could go in there and you could bring in a six-pack of beer.
Never.
And you could bring in a fish supper and you could smoke. You could go into the cinema and you could sit and you could have a fish supper, you could have a beer and you could smoke. And it was the greatest cinema I have ever seen. So they probably stopped all that now. They probably shot everybody on the way out on the last Friday night so as to wipe them all out so that no other people would be looking for that. You have to go in there now wearing a white coat.
By the way...
Anyway, that's Friday the 14th of January in the Ulster Hall's group space. A bit of a bar and 2 Elvis movies, King Creole and Sharrow, back to back. And it seems to me is that you can sit and watch the movie and then you want to be drinking up the bar. Get a wee fucking white hour before the movie starts.
Does that mean you're sitting watching and and then this guy beside you wants a pint and he's getting up and he's saying, bring me down a gin or bring me down a vodka as well.
I'll take a wee vodka.
What do you want? At 4 Carlsberg. And so all this is going back and forward.
Yeah, why not?
And you're trying to watch the TV?
I don't like cinemas anymore because they're too clinical. Do you ever wonder what people are thinking when the movie ends? If you don't know because you don't go to it. When was the last time you went to a movie?
You know the one you sent me to, about the captain over the world.
Master and Commander? You hated it.
Oh, yeah, with the passion.
I know. So cinemas now, people just go in and sit down silently.
No, they're all eating round me. I told you that.
Anyway, they eat round you, now. But then a thing is up on the screen that tells you not to make any noise. And people are going... and turn off their mobile phones. And all these things you're not supposed to do. Yeah. And if you see anybody videoing the movie, arrest them.
And you have far too much leg room, right?
Far too much room.
I hate that.
But you know the thing about that? Everybody watches the movie in complete silence, right? And then at the end of the movie, no matter what movie it is, everybody just gets up and just walks out. And nobody ever says, geez, that's a good movie there. Nobody ever speaks. They just get up and walk out. As if they're kind of zombies. Remember we used to shout at the screen and all? Do you remember? I remember. Remember the thing about Roy Rogers? Remember going in? Remember I told you about that before? Well, one of the best ones I ever heard. Roy Rogers was going into the bar. He was pretending to be a gambler because he knew that there was this guy cheating and he was cheating cowboys out of their money. So he decided to be a cowboy, not to be a cowboy, and went in all dirty.
Oh, right.
You remember that?
No.
He'd done all dirty and stood at the bar. And the fellas, you want to play a game of cards, cowboy? And he says, don't mind if I do. And he goes in and he sits down and... Somebody and he sits down and he joins the table where all these card players are playing, and there's people they're fleecing the cowhands, right, basically. And there's a guy there with the sleight of hand, and somebody behind me stood up and said, "If you's rook that yoffla, I'm going to wreck this picture house." The tide has turned. Hitherto undisguised hostility towards the presenter has been transformed into a can-do attitude. Nothing is too much trouble, apparently. The presenter suspects dark motives. Even Ken is offering help. That's Jimmy Nail. That's that request. Wasn't that good of you to get that? Thank you, Sean, for that.
That was a lovely song.
Where did you get that, by the way? You're very resourceful today.
Yes.
Emma, thank you for that. Emma got that? Good girl. Why don't you get other things?
Well, anything you want, we can get it for you.
It's always been a problem before, and suddenly it's okay.
Because we had a meeting. Oh. We had a meeting. Emma, Janet, and the Undertone and myself went out, and we had a little drink one night. And
he decided to help me?
Well, the Undertone said, he says, we're all in this together. You know.
He's been watching David Cameron.
Yeah, why don't we help him? So
you came to a decision to help me?
Yeah.
The thing that you were paid to do, that you had hitherto not done before, and you decided to help. Because I couldn't believe it this last couple of days. All I have to do is say, I wonder where that record is, and it arrives here.
Yes, we can get these
and
things.
It's like, it's almost the way everybody else works. And I said to myself, I'm being treated like everyone else. What's wrong? And it's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you.
Not at all.
I really like it so much.
We're trying desperately hard to get into your home.
Every parent dreads the day when their child might express an interest in learning a loud musical instrument. To be avoided at all costs are the following: tubas, trombones, drums, and bass guitars. My brother is a trombone player. A professional.
Yes, you told me that.
Yeah, a professional trombone player, and he used to drive my father mad. But the only thing was, he was okay because he used to go up in the very top of the house. We used to live in a kind of well, it was never our house, but it was a large house, but we rented it. You see, I'd want people to think I lived in a big house.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he went way up the attic. And you know the thing was, you used to open the attic window. Do you remember the skylight? Remember the skylight windows?
Who?
You. Do you remember the skylights?
Yeah.
You could open the skylight. He used to open the skylight. Mm-hmm. And at that time, people, didn't get annoyed. People were different then, I mean, if he did that now, people would be complaining to the police, wouldn't they? Yeah. And they'd be ringing social workers. But I used to go out, during the next day.
And he used to put his slide out the skylight?
No, he opened the skylight, but what I'm saying is the sound came out. He wanted a bit of air in. So he was playing away, and you could hear the trombone everywhere. Because the sound came out through the skylight. Yeah. So people were different then. So I remember they used to go out, maybe the next day, and people would say, he's getting better, isn't he? He's coming on.
There was a fella lived near us too as well, and he was learning the trumpet. And he used to stand upstairs in his bedroom, and he stood with the window open and looking out onto the street and playing the trumpet. And we used to gather outside in the far side of the street looking up at him.
People were interested.
And watch him,
People were interested in you then because they had nothing else to do. Now they're too busy watching TV and videoing things, and doing all kinds of conferences.
Although the other day when walking home, I heard a young man practicing his new drum kit that he got for Christmas, and I stood and I listened to him, and he made neither rhyme nor reason nor air nor smell, and I said to myself, I wouldn't like to be living near you, boy.
The only thing good about a drum kit, see, a lot of people who have no sense buy their children drum kits for Christmas, especially people who have far too much money, and they realise after the first day that they've made a big mistake. I want to say to those people that nobody ever stays with a drum kit, especially a child. They always get fed up within a fortnight. It's only later on when they come back to it that you're going to have trouble. But once you buy the initial drum kit, they'll play it for 2 weeks and then they get fed up. You'll be okay, it'll be hell for 2 weeks. But my father used to throw the paper at me because I used to play the guitar, you see, just an acoustic guitar, and he didn't have to go upstairs, and he didn't realise it annoyed people. Yeah. So every once in a while, the way you practice a guitar, as you well know, is you do little scales, and you just repeat them. And I'd be sitting watching TV, you see, and I'd be kind of doing this little scale. The fella would be sitting watching TV, and then he'd go, ah! Ah! And he'd throw something at me. Get upstairs!
Throw like budgie at you.
I don't know. And I should say, what's wrong, Father?
Yes.
Thank you for listening.